Nelson Mandela, a name synonymous with courage, resilience, and freedom. From prisoner to president, his journey is an inspiration to humanity. Join us as we delve into the life of a man who changed the course of history, demonstrating the power of unwavering dedication to justice and equality. Born on July 18, 1918, in the small village of Mvezo, nestled in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, Nelson Mandela grew up in a traditional Themba family. His father, Gadla Henry Mfekeniswa, was a local chief and counselor to the monarch. Mandela was named Rhodilala, which colloquially means troublemaker, fitting name for someone who would grow to challenge the status quo. After his father's death, Mandela was placed under the guardianship of Chief Jongintaba Dalindivo, the acting regent of the Themba people. This move granted Mandela opportunities for education and instilled in him a sense of leadership responsibility. He attended primary school in Kunu, where his teacher, Miss Ndingane, gave him the name Nelson in accordance with the custom of giving all schoolchildren Christian names. Mandela's education continued at Clarkberry Boarding Institute and later Hilltown, a Wesleyan secondary school. His higher education journey began at the University of Fort Hare, the premier institution of higher learning for Black Africans in Southern Africa. It was at Fort Hare that Mandela began to cultivate his political awareness. He was elected to the Student Representative Council, but due to a boycott against university policies, he was expelled along with his friend Oliver Tambo, another future anti-apartheid leader. Mandela then moved to Johannesburg, where he completed his BA through the University of South Africa and later began studying law at the University of Witwatersrand. It was in Johannesburg that Mandela encountered the harsh realities of racial segregation and poverty, which further fueled his resolve to fight for justice. Anti-apartheid activism. Mandela's journey into activism began in earnest in the 1940s. After joining the African National Congress, ANC, in 1944, he co-founded the ANC Youth League, pushing for more radical approaches to combating racial inequality. The Youth League's influence grew, leading to the adoption of the Program of Action in 1949, advocating for mass resistance through strikes, boycotts, and civil disobedience. In the 1950s, Mandela played a significant role in the Defiance Campaign against unjust laws and the Congress of the People, which adopted the Freedom Charter, a vision for a non-racial South Africa. Arrest and imprisonment. Mandela's activism made him a target for the apartheid regime. In 1962, he was arrested and charged with inciting workers' strikes and leaving the country illegally. During the Rivonia trial, he and his comrades faced charges of sabotage, which could have resulted in the death penalty. Mandela used the trial as a platform to deliver a powerful speech, stating, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Sentenced to life imprisonment, Mandela was sent to Robben Island, where he would spend 18 of his 27 years in captivity. Despite the harsh conditions, hard labor, minimal contact with the outside world, and systemic mistreatment, Mandela's resolve did not waver. His time in prison was marked by a continuous struggle for the rights of prisoners and for better conditions, and he emerged as a powerful symbol of resistance. Throughout the 1980s, international pressure mounted for Mandela's release and the end of apartheid. The global community, outraged by the injustices in South Africa, organized protests, economic sanctions, and diplomatic efforts. Campaigns like the Free Nelson Mandela movement gained traction, with supporters from all walks of life calling for his freedom. In 1989, F.W. de Klerk became president of South Africa and recognized the need for change. On February 11, 1990, after nearly 3 decades in prison, Nelson Mandela walked free from Victor Verster prison, a moment that signaled a new dawn for South Africa. Mandela's release was met with jubilation across the world. It was a turning point that promised a future of hope and reconciliation. Negotiations and democracy. Upon his release, Mandela led the ANC in negotiations with President F.W. de Klerk's government, aiming to dismantle apartheid and establish a multiracial democracy. These negotiations were fraught with tension and violence, as various factions within South Africa grappled with the transition. Mandela's leadership and commitment to peace were instrumental in steering the country through these turbulent times. In 1993, Mandela and de Klerk were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts to dismantle the apartheid system. In April 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections, in which citizens of all races could vote. On May 10, 1994, Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president, marking the beginning of a new era of equality, reconciliation, and nation-building. Presidency and legacy. As president, Mandela focused on uniting a divided nation. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, chaired by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, to address the human rights abuses of the past. Mandela's government also prioritized economic reform, aiming to address the deep inequalities created by decades of apartheid. He championed policies to improve housing, education, and healthcare for the disadvantaged. Mandela's presidency was characterized by his commitment to reconciliation. He reached out to former adversaries, emphasizing forgiveness and unity. His efforts in promoting the Rugby World Cup in 1995, famously donning the Springbok jersey, symbolized this spirit of nation-building. Mandela stepped down in 1999, having served one term, but his influence continued to shape South Africa and inspire the world. He dedicated his post-presidency years to various humanitarian efforts through the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Mandela's legacy lives on in the countless lives he touched and the global movement for justice and equality he inspired. His life story is a beacon of hope for those striving for freedom and human dignity. Conclusion. Nelson Mandela's journey from prisoner to president is a testament to the power of courage, forgiveness, and determination. His life stands as a powerful reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, change is possible through unwavering commitment to justice. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela. His story is not just a part of history, but a guiding light for the future.